I read your op-ended article, and the way you rethought everything about Philadelphia, we were on the same page. I said, I got to talk to this guy. Expound on, first of all, you're an artist. You're a creator. You're a hip-hop artist. Tactic, no, I didn't know Tactic knew you so well.
Oh, yeah. Me and Tactics go back. Him and Jay Ski been big supporters. I made records. I'm always an artist. I mean, I'm a hip-hop artist, though, so really what come with that, I mean, it's a little bit lost on the current iteration of hip-hop that's being popularized, but a big part of that is building community. You know what I mean? People not so aware that how the whole hip-hop movement started is by looking for solutions to things like what we facing now. So, yeah, if people want to see that part of me, they could look for Grand Agent online or on Spotify and all that. I actually just had a record come out the other day with my man Sonny James, a big DJ from Philly, called Corner Boy. But that's that. We're here to talk about what opportunity we have right now with this mayoral election and some of the things you mentioned earlier. The Shapiro coming in and the Democratic majority in Harrisburg and all of that.
I'm gonna read to folks what you wrote. This is an op-ended letter to all mayoral and council candidates in America's poorest, largest city, Philadelphia. Dear Mayor, you will be the 100th mayor of the city where America was born. If you and the city council are not aspiring to enshrine the example of transformation that all majority black and brown cities should follow, for what are you running? The goal of this letter is to give you a vision for how Philadelphia will operate by 2050 if you make it a priority to enact a process to bring about socioeconomic parity along racial lines. You could consider using the model applied to Philadelphia in 2035, which in 2011 gave us a vision for how the city would look in 25 years. In fact, your plan for 2050 should surpass that level of research, planning, and attention to detail and long-range implementation. You went on and on. You gave us facts and numbers and figures about the African-American community, the breakdown, 65% in a normalized other city. We are 44% African-American, 14% Latino, and 7% Asian. You talked about the school district. You talked about the police. You mentioned something that only few people and geeks like myself even know. That little scroll that Billy Penn has under City Hall. I don't know that anyone else has ever read that but me. And thou, Philadelphia, the virgin settlement of this province, named before thou wert born. What love, what care, what service, and what travail. I can go on. Brother, when I saw that you read that, I got to have this guy on the line. He and I are on the same page.
I felt the same way listening to the top of the show. I got to be honest, it's the first time I listened, but I said, I see why he hit back. But, look, that's what it is. The letter is out there. Big shout to Aldea for taking a chance. Since then, we've put a petition forward because I already, through some relationships, started getting at these candidates directly to see if they're going to hear us out, if they're going to address this. Maybe yesterday we started a petition. People can go to checkthemayor.com, and they can sign that petition. So if nothing else, if we get a couple tens of thousands of signatures on there, we will force this conversation because they need to have it with the people. They need nobody can slide through this time. We've been through too much. This last administration is, deadbeat more or less in terms of addressing the issues. And this right here, we got to design something where we're not coming back here 25, 30 years. You know what I mean? How this started, me and my man Steve, we was realizing when we was in 10th grade in 1990, it was 500 homicides. So here we are in 2020 when we got talking about this. How we seeing this movie again 30 years later? And then when I get into it and I go back to things like the House of Emoji and what they did in the early 70s, I start looking at the numbers back then, 400-something homicides. Then, you talk to folks like the 57 blocks, and they talking about now, well, it's been a 350 homicide average for the last 50 years in this city. And I could guarantee you, like it is today, 87-something% of them is us doing it to us, in anger and not being able to reach who we want to, or not being not having the courage to direct that anger where we know it's really directed. So we got to recognize who living here. We got to recognize who drive this city. And this is for the candidates, but this for the people too. You know, all that stuff you talked about earlier, we got to politicize our people, man. We got a lot of power laying around that we ain't putting to use. And that's what we got to do right now.
Speaking of justice involvement, your aim should be, this is your letter, your aim should be eliminating the disparities in urban policing once and for all. Police should be required to live in neighborhoods where they patrol. In the first few years on the force, they should live in rookie housing in lower income sections and gradually earn increased specialized benefits such as consideration on tax incentives or vouchers, subsidized housing, and free tuition at local universities for their dependents. Wow, dude. Interesting. You thought this thing out?
Well, I'm gonna keep it real. Most of that came right out of Dick Gregory's mouth. I just put my own spin on it. And the premise was, if they have enough to lose, they're gonna act right. Right?
Right.
If they got enough to lose, they're gonna act right. And then the other part of it is, we can't have no occupational force coming in from whatever county, clocking in, you know, beating us over the head for overtime and all of this. Don't have no inkling of what's going on in the houses and the minds of these people that they supposed to be serving, but actually just containing and managing. So all of that is upside down, and people got to realize, you know, why I went back to the William Penn thing is because we dealing with a couple 100 years old paradigm that now is, we got an opportunity to start really investing the time and the energy and the resources to turn it around.
No doubt.
So
no doubt.
Yeah.
So we got to go. But big shout out to you, Grand Agent, as a representative of one half of Pure Elements.
No doubt.
You know, we're back since Soul Spasm. My man, I appreciate what you do, baby. And, you know, making a difference, man. You always have, bro.
That's what's up. Let me say this one more time. Everybody who feeling this, go to checkthemayor.com, read the letter, watch some of the videos, and sign that petition. Let's run these numbers up on them and make them have this conversation.
The conversation has started yesterday. Thanks to you, my brother. Don't be a